Hi, so I'm Brittany, and this is my channel, Pineapple Grease. Like and subscribe and all that jazz. Please, I beg of you. And today we're going to be talking about Fangirl, the adaptation into manga. And well, basically, is it worth reading? So if you haven't read the original Fangirl, then the story is basically about, an introvert fangirl who she's going off to college for the first time and being on her own, and how she has to deal with living in the real world and making friends and things. And meanwhile, she's also, of course, a BL fanfic writer for essentially a story like Harry Potter. But if Harry Potter and Malfoy were in a relationship, is her story that she's pretty much writing. So it's very fun and very interesting, and I recommend that you go and you read it too. Read this, read the original, they're both great. And then you can come back here and you can talk about it with me. If you've only read the original, I don't think me talking about this is going to spoil it for you. So if you want to see my thoughts on the adaptation before buying it, maybe do that too. And let's just get right into it. For me, it was kind of hard because I literally was listening to Fangirl like the week before I read this. So it was kind of hard getting into it where you shift the way you read so much. Like you don't get as much description because you're seeing the description in things. And so certain things, it's strange being like, oh, you said that slightly different in this than you did in the original. But overall, I was actually very pleased with it. Um, and I think it's a great way to get into it for people that haven't read the series yet either. Like, I don't think you're missing very much if you just read the manga and you don't read the original. That being said, I'm guessing that most people that are going to read the manga are going to also be people that already read the original. But I don't know. It'll be cool if it can reach more people with this. Um, but no, it's just crazy. What I really liked about this adaptation is, well, what I liked about the original. Like, for me, Fangirl largely is about Levi. Levi is like the best character, and what I love so much about the adaptation is seeing him drawn out. Like, he's so cute. And like I love how happy he is and stuff. I don't know if you can see this, but like all his happy expressions come across so well. And I think they even did a pretty good job of making him both look like happy and young, little boyish, and look old. Because he's always supposed to be kind of older looking than he really is because of his hair. But it's like when he has the smiley, happy expression, it makes him look younger. And then when he like has a more serious face, which isn't that often, he looks kind of old, I think, in the manga. And I just think they do him so well, and like so many of the characters look perfect. Another one is what's his face, the other male lead, um what's his name, Nick. He is perfect too because he's such a like hipster douchebag. Like, which sounds mean, but that's totally what his character is. Let me find a good picture of him. But he's got his suspenders and stuff. Like, he looks like he belongs as a hipster douchebag who's an English major. Like, I can picture that character so well because I know those people. They can be so annoying. Here he is. And like, I love English, but I minored in English in college, but like English majors can be really annoying. So I'm sorry. Like, if you're an English major, no offense. I know people that like reading like English. But no, he's just the worst. It's so bad. And her roommate is also like really well done, I think. Like, she's not how I pictured her. Like, I sort of pictured her with more like short goth hair almost. But I think all her outfits and stuff, like, I think they're pretty good with, like, the lace and things like that. Like, I think she makes perfect sense. And she's described as being, like, more full-figured, and they do that pretty well in here. And Kath is so good with her, like, glasses and such, and her little fangirl t-shirts. And the differences between her and her sister, though I also imagined her sister's haircut like a little more edgy, I guess, than they do. But I think this makes more sense, probably. I also really love the way that they do all the Simon and Baz scenes. Like, the art of them is so cute. And, like, I think they look pretty nice. So that made me happy. Like, I like how you see her writing too, and then it'll show a scene of them above her while she's writing it, and I think it's really nicely done. And the one thing that I think is kind of weird with the art is done by a Korean artist, Gabby Nam, and it's adapted by Sam Maggs, and of course it's by Rainbow Rowell, you know, everyone knows that, but I mean, I guess not everyone, but whatever. But Gabby Nam, the illustrator, she's really good, but the one thing that I think is kind of weird is that her hands tend to be, like, so detailed, which isn't a bad thing, but it's just a little awkward because it's like people will have their hands up and then their hands are just, like, very detailed, and then their faces and things are more normal level of detail, like, they're not as detailed, so it looks a little strange to me. I don't know if I have an example I can find, but yeah, it's not a big deal at all. I just think it's weird. I find it, like, very slightly distracting. But yeah, overall, I think it was definitely worthwhile to read it and get the book. There's only going to be 4. I think there's going to be 4 copies of this. So it's such an interesting shift to read the story like this instead of read it like this. And I always related, like, I relate pretty well to this story with being, you know, a dumb fangirl. And you know, I went through college, and, like, I feel like I relate to some of her struggles. She's a little over the top, I think, in some senses, but I think it's a great story. I'd recommend it to anyone who has read it before, who's read the original, or I think anyone who hasn't read it before. I think if you like manga and you like this type of storytelling, and especially if you are, you know, a fangirl or fanboy, whatever, then this is probably the story for you. But yeah, no, it's so good. Mostly I just love Levi. And, like, they have their dance party in this book, you know, their emergency dance party, and it's so cute to see it, like, illustrated, where you have them dancing on the beds and stuff, and, like, oh, they're jumping around and dancing. Oh, and, like, my favorite is Levi when he's, like, sitting on the outside her door and stuff like that, and he just has these, like, cute, like, derpy expressions. Like, he's like a puppy dog, like this. I don't know if you can see it, where he's like, oh, hello? Is that you? But yeah, I highly recommend it. All right, so that is Fangirl. Is it worth it? I would say yeah. I think it's pretty darn good. And I really enjoyed it. I'm excited to see the next 3 volumes. And yeah, I'll be collecting them all. I want to see what the covers are going to look like too. Like, I wonder if they're all going to be this yellow, or if they're going to be, like, rainbowy colors and shift. So that's always interesting. This reads from right to left. It's available now, and you should read it and then come talk to me about it. All right. Subscribe and like the video and all that stuff. Thanks for your time. Bye.